After watching this video, you're going to have your own podcast. You will know everything that you need and also what you don't need to get your show up and running and primed for success. I've been running my own shows and helping others grow theirs for over 5 years. So I'm going to share everything with you to save you a ton of time and money by making the right choices the first time, because I didn't do that. I wasted a lot of time and a lot of money and it wasn't fun. And I don't want that for you. So let's not waste any time. Let's start your show. The first thing that you need as a podcaster is a podcast host. People can't listen to your show if it's not accessible on the platforms where people listen to podcasts, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And luckily, a podcast host makes your life very easy, because when you sign up for a podcast host, it creates a unique RSS feed for you. And don't let the acronyms scare you. The premise is incredibly simple. A podcast host allows you to upload content to one place, and then through the RSS feed, they send that content to all the different directories that you've listed your show on all at once without you having to do any additional work. So you pick your host for your show, it creates you an RSS feed, you get your show listed on the different directories, and then you only have to deal with the podcast host moving forward. Super simple premise, but it's where everything starts for podcasters. Picking the right host will come down to your budget and your unique needs in terms of features. I'm not going to cover all the different options here in this video, but if you do want to dive deeper into podcast hosts specifically, you can check this video out that I linked in the card above with our top 5 favorite options. Our typical recommendation for brand new podcasters is Buzzsprout, just because it's so easy to use. And if you do sign up for Buzzsprout, if you use the link down below, you'll get yourself a $20 Amazon gift card for doing so. But if you do want to shop around a bit first, watch this video after this one. But to be found, you need a podcast host so you can get listed on the directories. Step number 2, now that you've got your podcast up and running and it is a real thing, you want to set up a YouTube channel for your podcast. Growing a podcast is one of the most difficult things about running a show, and YouTube is your best friend when it comes to building a community and growing your show. And luckily, setting up a YouTube channel is incredibly simple. Just create a Google account, and then from there, make a YouTube channel that's connected to it. And after you do that and set it up, you will now have a YouTube channel for your podcast where you can publish your episodes right to YouTube. This can be the full-length episode. It can also be for clips. A ton of people are consuming more and more podcasts with YouTube. It's a major priority for them. So you want to take advantage right from the beginning. If you want help in setting up this YouTube channel for your podcast, we made a video to help you with that as well. It's linked in the card above. And even if you're only doing an audio version of your podcast, you still want a YouTube channel, because they recently added a new feature where you can add your RSS feed to your YouTube channel. So even if you're uploading just audio, it can now be live fed to YouTube at the exact same time through your podcast host. And it will publish a video with just a still, an image of your show, and then have the audio there for people to listen to. You should definitely be doing video if it's possible, but even if you're not, still create the YouTube channel. That's the next step. So now everything's set up, but now you got to start creating content to make this a real thing. And to do that, you're going to need a little bit of gear. The first place I would put any bit of money is into a microphone. It's the most important part of this. Even if you're doing video, people will click off a video faster for poor audio than they will for poor video. So I recommend investing into a mic day one. It makes the product so much better for not a huge amount of money. On the lower end, I recommend going with the Samson Q2U. And if you do have a little bit more of a budget, I recommend going with the Shure MV7. These mics are used by a ton of podcasters because they both give you a ton of flexibility. They both come with a USB input, which allows you to plug it directly into your computer, which is great if you're using that to capture audio or if you're doing online calls. But they also have an XLR output if you do want to upgrade to an audio interface later. So these have a ton of flexibility. You can grow with these microphones, and they're both fantastic options. Depending on your budget, make the right choice for you. Links to both are in the description. For capturing video, I recommend starting with what you have, and I'm willing to bet you have a smartphone with a pretty great camera. So I would start there before I invest any money. They've gotten so good with these cameras, and they're so easy to set up. As long as you have decent lighting, either through a light that you put somewhere, like that right there, or if you just use natural light from the outside, a semi-new smartphone is going to capture some pretty awesome video. And a massive pro tip for podcasters that is way too slept on is you can actually use your phone as a webcam for your computer. So you can get that super cinematic look and feel by using your phone. And iPhones make it incredibly easy. You can use it, and you can even set it up to have portrait mode on for your video to give you that super grayed out look behind you, all without spending any extra money because you already have the phone. So if you're brand new, that's where I would start. I wouldn't invest a ton of money until you've proven that you're going to do this. Also, because you can get a really high quality product of content without investing a ton of money. So why not do it? If you do have a budget and you really want to ball out, I will be doing some podcast setup guide videos in the coming weeks to talk about where I would go depending on my budget level and how many people were involved with the show. So if you do want to see that, make sure you click subscribe so you don't miss it. This is almost real. I can feel your excitement. The next step is optional depending on how your show is going to be structured. But if your show is going to be an interview style show where you're going to be interviewing people online, or if your co-host is not there physically with you, they're going to be somewhere else, you're going to need an online call recording software, somewhere where you can conduct these calls and capture the audio and video from it to then turn it into a podcast. And our current go-to recommendation for this is Riverside FM. We recommend them for a few specific reasons. They're built specifically for podcasters. It's essentially a remote podcast studio that's all online. The other massive benefits to Riverside is it allows you to capture HD video and audio audio, and they're all separate tracks. And this is massive for editing content because it gives you way more flexibility to clean things up and adjust things accordingly depending on what people were using. They also upload to your computer as well as the cloud at the same time. So if a call were to drop, you don't lose what you had to that point, which is a massive thing. Years ago, we didn't have tools like this, and I can't tell you how painful it was to lose an awesome conversation. That will not happen with Riverside. They give you a ton to work with, and they're very content focused, so they try to make it as easy as possible to turn these episodes into content to help you grow it. And they're constantly building more and more tools into it, which is why it's trusted by some huge podcasts out there. If you want to try it out for yourself, you can do so completely for free using the link down below. And if you end up signing up for a paid account, you will also get an exclusive discount because you used our link. So why not, right? Why not? The final step in this podcast process will be editing software to either edit the video or the audio from your show, or both. If you're just doing audio, I recommend using GarageBand or Audacity because that can actually capture the audio by plugging your mic into your computer, and you can also edit it very easily within there. And if you're doing video-based content, you can use any video editing software that you like to use. And then from there, you can export the files and upload them to your podcast host and your YouTube channel if you have the video formats. And look at you. You now have a podcast. If you're ready to get going and pick your host right now, this video right here, we cover our top 5 favorite options to help you make the right choice for your specific situation. So go ahead and click this so we can connect you with the right host and get your show live. I'll see you over there, and congrats on starting your show. I'm out for you. See you over here. Peace.